Hello, beautiful sacred souls. This is a script that I have written. It is called The Divine Within, Healing Your Cells from the Inside Out, a trauma-informed, spiritual, and neuroscience-based approach. My name is Allison Batty Capps of Blossoming Heart Wellness, and today I want to share a framework for healing and integration that combines spirituality, psychology, and neuroscience, all grounded in my lived experience and the wisdom of your body. Many teachers focus on just one of these areas: spiritual presence, psychological insight, or nervous system regulation. But rarely do all three in cohesive trauma-informed way get discussed. My approach honors the nervous system, your inner parts, and the soul together. Over the next few minutes, I'll explain the core pillars of my teachings, why this approach is different, and how my lived experience informs it, and how to know if it is right for you. Pillar 1, relationship with the self is primary. The first pillar in my work is that your relationship with yourself is the foundation for everything else in your life. In neuroscience, we know that the nervous system can only regulate when it feels safe inside the body. From a psychological perspective, your parts, the vulnerable, protective, and playful aspects of yourself, need acknowledgement and care. Spiritually, connecting with your inner wisdom and your heart creates alignment with your higher, wiser, healed self. When your inner system is secure, boundaries feel natural, decisions become easier, and your presence in the world is more stable and you experience life with more ease. This differs from teachers who emphasize letting go of the self or purely observing thoughts. Here, the inner relationship comes first. You're not abandoning or bypassing yourself in order to feel calm. You are integrating it. Pillar 2, thoughts and emotions are signals, not dictators. The second pillar is that your thoughts, your emotions, your bodily sensations, and even your belief systems are signals. They are not directives to be taken as absolute truth. Psychologically, these are often unmet needs or protective strategies that were shaped by trauma or lived experience. Oftentimes, they are not helpful to you actually showing up for yourself in a way that nurtures self or others. Neuroscience shows that recurring thoughts activate stress pathways if ignored. Spiritually, these signals are guidance from the deeper self, the part of you that knows what is safe, what is aligned, and what needs healing. This is different from some spiritual teachers who encourage detachment from thoughts without understanding them. My approach helps you listen to signals with loving containment so the nervous system feels heard and regulated instead of bypassed. This is how we develop self-awareness and better understand how to have agency in our life and make choices about how to respond rather than reacting from unconscious patterns. Pillar 3, boundaries enable authentic connection. The third pillar in my work is about boundaries. Boundaries are not walls. They instead are frameworks that allow you to engage with the world without giving yourself away. Neuroscience supports that clear boundaries reduce chronic stress and promote autonomy. Psychologically, boundaries teach your inner parts that you are trustworthy. Spiritually, they honor your innate value and worth. Many teachings on presence or mindfulness skip boundaries or frame them as ego or separation. My approach sees them as essential for integrated, sustainable living in healthy relationships. Pillar 4, integration of the mind, the body, and the spirit. The fourth pillar is integration. Healing isn't just mental, it's somatic, it's spiritual. Through movement, creativity, expressive practices, and inner reflection, you will train the nervous system to embody a state of calm, safety, and alignment. Neuroscience tells us that the body holds trauma and stress. Psychology tells us patterns live in our behavior, and sometimes that behavior is not helpful to showing up in healthy ways. Spiritually, it tells us that energy and intention matter. The integrated approach differs from traditional psychotherapy or purely meditative frameworks. You are not just observing or talking. You instead are experiencing embodiment, which is alignment within the mind, the body, and the soul. Pillar 5, healing is rhythmic, not linear. Healing unfolds in rhythms. You do not need to process everything all at once. Healing does not happen quickly. It happens slowly over time. That is why containment is necessary, and it can be daily. Deep inner engagement can be brief, intentional, and paced according to your nervous system's capacity. When we honor the rhythm and dosage of our body and our nervous system, the system will regulate and heal naturally. Many approaches push linear progress, constant work, or forcing transformation with quick fixes. My approach instead encourages trust in timing, self-compassion, and responsiveness to the system's needs. Pillar 6, your outer world reflects your inner world. Finally, your inner security actually shapes your outer world. When your inner parts are acknowledged, when they feel safe and cared for, your relationships naturally shift. Boundaries become clearer, interactions feel more easeful, and engagement becomes reciprocal. Or when it isn't, you're able to recognize that those relationships are not healthy and you need to create more distance. Spiritually, this is the energy of integration rippling outward. This is the idea, that law of attraction. Psychologically and neurobiology, it reduces chronic stress and reactive patterns. My approach is different because it doesn't just help you cope, it creates relational and social transformation that is natural, not forced or pressured. So why my lived experience matters? I created this approach through my own lived experience. I grew up in a complex, emotionally challenging family environment, and I navigated severe mental health challenges along my mental health journey. I talk about this in my book, The Divine Within. Because I've walked through trauma, practiced these tools in real life, and integrated them into daily living, I teach not from hierarchy or power, but alongside, in relationship. I know what it's like to feel activated, unsafe, overstimulated, or unheard because providers don't understand what you're experiencing. And I have developed a way of sitting with you to guide your system towards safety, regulation, and inner trust by holding you capable and seeing you through all of the complexity that you are without judgment. This isn't just theory I read about. It's embodied knowledge, and it shapes how I show up with empathy, clarity, and practical guidance. You don't just learn the approach, you feel it in real time through relationship. You might also resonate with my approach because it is grounded not only in my lived experience of healing from trauma and navigating deep inner work, but also in 2 decades of professional training and practice. I am a licensed mental health therapist with 10 years of experience working with clients. I'm trained as a yoga therapist, and I specialize in trauma-informed treatment. My work is further informed by my training as a Reiki master and spiritual channeler, shamanic practices that I am trained in, mindfulness, which I am trained in, and internal family systems. This integration of spiritual, psychological, neuroscience, and somatic modalities allows me to walk beside you in relationship rather than from hierarchy, helping you cultivate a deeper connection within yourself so that you too can set healthy boundaries in practice with me and then bringing it out into the world. And this is how we embody lasting transformation. So who is this approach for? Well, you may resonate with this approach if you feel chronically activated or flooded in relationships or in your own mind. You are interested in integrating spirituality, psychology, and neuroscience-based approaches. You're interested in practical tools to create safety and trust within yourself. You're seeking sustainable healing that doesn't require overgiving or over-processing. You might want more traditional mindfulness or purely spiritual teachings if your system is already very stable and just needs observation practice. Here's an invitation to practice. If this resonates, you might begin by simply noticing your inner thoughts, emotions, and sensations today. And ask yourself, do I need containment or engagement? Can I meet this with loving kindness, even if I choose to step back? This is just one example of the work we do in my teachings and in my book, The Divine Within, Healing Ourselves to Heal the World, which is available on online bookstores such as Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Powell's Books, and Walmart. You can also explore my teachings through my website, blossomingheartwellness.com, or follow me on social media. And if this video felt helpful, I invite you to like, follow, subscribe, comment, so we can continue exploring these practices together. When your inner relationship with yourself is secure, loving, and grounded, your relationship with the outer world naturally becomes healthier, more boundaried, and more easeful. Healing doesn't just happen inside, it ripples outward. By integrating mind, body, and spirit and nervous system awareness in a trauma-informed way, we can embody the wisdom of our experience and create a life that feels aligned and safe.